Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Locker Room Podcast, where we shine a light on all of the student athletes here in our bi-region. First and foremost, hope that you are all having a terrific holiday season leading up to a wonderful Christmas and a Happy New Year. You need to wish everybody a Happy New Year.
Absolutely.
Stan Gravois here, Dustin Roby Show there. Of course, Dustin helps put all of this together from a technical aspect. How are you, my friend?
I'm great, Stan. Happy National Short Person Day.
Are you serious?
Yes.
I was expecting something that was going to be more in line with Christmas.
You would think.
Happy Short Person Day.
Yes.
I know somebody I'm going to wish that to. I'm glad you said that. I got somebody in my mind right now that I'm going to be going to talk to.
Okay. I thought you were going to say me because, I've been height challenged.
You're height challenged, but not like this person I'm thinking of.
Okay.
I hope they're watching. I got you coming. That all being said, I will say this about the holiday season. It's too hot.
Yeah, oh, yes, for sure.
A couple of Mondays ago, we were talking about how cold it was, but it's too hot. And I understand that Christmas Eve, Christmas Day is supposed to be like a scorcher. I understand in Baton Rouge yesterday it got up to 83 degrees, which was the hottest on record since like 18 something.
Yes.
So yeah, it just doesn't add like a holiday flair to it.
Doesn't quite feel right. Yeah.
I agree 100%. Listen, there are a few basketball tournaments going on. There are a few soccer tournaments going on during these holiday seasons. We'll get you caught up with all of that. Again, when you're thinking about PowerPoints related to basketball and soccer, it really kicks in January. January is where you really have to start worrying about things. And of course, we always have a lot of teams in our area that are going to compete in the playoffs. You just hope that you get a good seed. So we'll get you caught up with all of that a little bit later. One thing that is happening now is we're starting to have a domino effect with coaching opportunities in our area. A lot of those coaching opportunities revolve around football simply because we just finished football. I have not heard of any volleyball coaching changes or cross country or swimming for that matter. But in football, it's starting to happen just a little bit. South Terrebonne had an opening. It was filled, and you'll hear a little bit more about that in just a second. Central Lafourche had an opening. It is filled. Of course, we talked to Aaron Babin last week about that. HL Bourgeois has an opening. It has not yet been filled. I know the folks there on the reservation want to do that quite quickly. You have to. You simply have to, because we are at midterm and you have to get a guy in place for spring. We haven't heard who that is as of our airing here on Monday morning. That being said, I don't imagine it'll be too much longer before we hear something about the reservation. But where we are lucky is that we were able to get the new head coach of South Terrebonne High School, Justin Learet, on the line and spoke with him about his situation. Remember, he's at Hornbill High School right now. So he'll be leaving Hornbill to come into South Terrebonne. We'll get you caught up on the agenda of when he leaves, how important it was for him to come home, yet it's bittersweet for all of these coaches because they're leaving a bunch of kids at the place they were before. As a matter of fact, you know Justin a little bit.
I do, yes.
As you were at South Terrebonne. Wonderful guy who I think is going to do a terrific job at South Terrebonne. So we're going to talk to Justin in just a little bit, but we're also going to talk to a young lady, Jada Stoot, who signed to play softball at Louisiana Christian University. Jada is a senior presently at HL Bourgeois High School, a terrific catcher for the Lady Braves. She decided that she wanted to continue her college career playing softball at Louisiana Christian. She's going to join another couple of young ladies, Raleigh Arsenault and Aubrey Gautreaux from South Terrebonne, also going out to Louisiana Christian. So congratulations to those young ladies. Talked to Jada, got to talk to her mom. We never see the parental perspective of all of this. So I got to talk to her mom and her coach there at HL Bourgeois related to why she made that decision. So I think we have a good Christmas show. It's always fun when a kid signs to play at the next level, and she did just that. So we're going to backtrack a little bit. I mentioned to you I had Justin Learet. Had a nice sit down with Justin. Here's why he decided to come back to South Terrebonne High School and the bittersweetness of it all leaving Hornbill. It's my pleasure to be joined by the head coach of the South Terrebonne High School Gators. It's got a nice ring to it. Justin Learet. Justin sort of going home. Justin, literally, in the last days and hours, You applied for a job, you went through an interview process, you get a call that you're the coach. Tell me how you're feeling right now.
Man, I tell you, it's overwhelming for sure, and then obviously bittersweet. Like today was my last day with the kids at Hornville. I'm gonna go back one more day in January. It's just faculty, but they will all congratulate me too. And how do I feel? And that was my word I had for them was bittersweet, man. Like, it's I had a really good time while I was there, but I'm able to go back home now, and I feel like I'm ready for this opportunity.
You talk about going home. You're a graduate of 2008, played on some really good teams there, where I think when you were there, it was sort of that South Terrebonne culture, right? When people saw South Terrebonne on the field, it was like, maybe not overwhelmingly impressed by size and things, but knew that team was going to get after you. You coached there for a while after you finish at Nichols. Then you go out to Hornville. Talk about the maturation process. When you left and you went to Hornville, I think because truth be known, we know each other, right? That maybe South Terrebonne was always going to be a landing point. But did things along the way work out the way you thought they were going to work out?
Yeah, man. So like like you talk about the culture. Like I know the culture that I played in, and and even coaching in, and just kind of seeing that, and wanting to get back to that, but also trying to find new ways of doing things. And that's not the reason why I left to go to Hornville, but when I got the opportunity to go, it definitely opened my eyes to newer innovative ways of doing things, and just definitely I enjoyed, and really I learned a lot these last couple of years that I can't wait to bring back to the culture that I've seen before and been a part of, and hopefully bring back to South Terrebonne.
Talk about the process from here on out. Now, obviously, we're right before Christmas. How does it work? Will you be in right after the new year? You did mention you have to go to Hornville for at least that day in January. What's the timetable in these next couple of weeks? Because one thing we must mention is South Terrebonne's actually going back into the main building, right? So for all you folks who pass on Highway 24 and always see all those portables in the front, those kids are not going to be in those portables in January.
Yeah, so I'll be back at Hornville for that one day. But like I said, I'll be starting that week. Not sure the exact start date, but I'll be getting into the classroom or into my portable building, and into the field house, and just kind of getting myself squared away, and kind of getting myself back set up, just as all the other teachers are going to be doing as well, as they've started moving their stuff. And over the break, the stuff's going to get moved. They're going to be back in, so it's going to be a new feel. And I think, again, feeling like back at home, actually, back in the building, and doing those things. But yeah, so right when we come back from the break, sometime during that week, I'm excited to get out there. Obviously, meet the players that are on the team, or had finished the year, and hopefully start recruiting more players to come onto the team, and just kind of get that football feel going.
Do you realize you're going to get about an hour and a half of your life back every day? Right. Tell everybody about that, because you actually live in Berg and you were traveling to Booty every day. And now, what's the distance from your house to South Terrebonne?
Yeah, I mean, we're talking maybe 3 minutes. The mileage is under 3 miles. It's a hop, skip, and a jump. But I pass it every day on my way to Booty, and that drive was about 45 minutes a day. Now, I think I'll miss my time with listening to podcasts, and the downtime I would get. Now it's going to be, as soon as I hop in the truck, I'm going to be pulling in right away. But I think the positive part of that too is, I like the routine that I'm in already. I think it'll give me an opportunity to get to school early, get a lot of work done that I need to get done early in the morning. And like you said too, with me saving that time, I think I would have more family time maybe at the end of the day, and things like that, if I can get some things done.
One thing people do not understand about becoming a head coach of football, or a head coach of anything for that matter, but football primarily, is that you are over multiple coaches, right? You have to build a staff. It's not like you're going to walk in and day one, get the kids in the room and start doing X's and O's of football. There are a lot of things to be done before that happens. Talk about where you're at South Terrebonne, what you know and maybe what you don't know. And what I mean by that is, who do you know or you're pretty sure will be on your staff? Because obviously you don't know everything, right? But what you have to do to get your staff in order to move forward.
Yeah, so like there's a few things that we gotta get first. I'm still trying to evaluate everything. Obviously I know Mike Barber being on staff there, who's been there whenever I was there early on. Caleb White, same, faculty member it was on staff with Aaron this last year, and was on staff with us a few years back. So I definitely know those two guys going in. I know there's some CECP guys that have been, helping out in the past, and that's the phone calls that I'm starting to make now is to, set up to talk to those guys and just kind of evaluate, where we are, where we're going type thing. But, and there's a couple other people that I've been reaching out to and just trying to get a feel right now, right before the holidays, and hopefully try to be able to set some things up in January and kind of get something rolling when we get into the springtime.
You mentioned you knew the culture, obviously being from there, and you mentioned you only live a couple of minutes from the school. Talk about what you know about the level of participation and those kids you would have around. I realize you're at Hornville every Friday night for the last umpteen years, and now, is it a deal where you always sort of looked and saw what South Terrebonne was doing that Friday night? You may have a little inkling to what kind of talent level they may have coming back?
Yeah, so like I said, conversations with some of those guys. I mean, I'm still really close with Mike Barber and Caleb White, and so I'd have conversations with those guys, after our game on Friday night or into the Saturdays, into the weekends, just try to see, how's everything going, and kind of, just, that kind of, thing. And I know from what I've heard that the roster has not been, the biggest that we've had, at South Terrebonne. I think that's my number one thing that I want to try to do is just try to bring as many guys into the program as we can to start developing, those athletes early on. So I think that's number one. I do know some of the names that, they've told me, and I haven't really met these kids, but just hearing their names, I know of them, a little bit. So.
Very good, very good. Listen, I have to tell you, for a guy that was there for 25 years and was leaving right when you were coming in back then in the day, and always hearing from my good friends and guys that I respect immensely, we call them the old coaching staff at South Terrebonne, Coach Curlin and that group, Coach Labai, Coach Barber. We're extremely excited to have you there. We feel lucky to have you there, and we know you're going to do a great job. We're excited about it. I want to congratulate you personally, and I'm going to hold you that you have to jump online with me every once in a while so we could talk and catch up with football and make sure that we keep up with what's going on at South Terrebonne, okay?
Absolutely, absolutely, anytime.
Thank you, Justin, and again, congratulations.
Thank you, appreciate it.
That was Justin Learett, again, a really good guy, and he's going home. He mentioned during the interview that he lives 3 minutes from the school. Can you imagine how much time per day he's saving in his life now, right? You have a wife that works at Hornville High School.
I do, yes.
And you're in the Thibodaux area, so you know what ride that is.
It is not a fun drive.
Well, he doesn't have to do it anymore. And he is home, and it's where he played. And I know that the South Terrebonne community is extremely excited to have him back, and they consider it restoring their culture there at South Terrebonne High School. I mentioned that I was lucky enough to go to a signing, and that was for Jada Stoot. She's going to be going to Louisiana Christian University. We talked to Jada a little bit about why Louisiana Christian, what was her reasoning for it. I love doing these things, way back when I would do HTV on a weekly, sometimes daily basis. One of the funnest things I got to do was to go to these signings because these kids have the opportunity to get a college education, right? And Jada looks like the kind who understands what she wants, not only from an academic standpoint and a sports standpoint, but from a faith-driven standpoint. Here's Jada talking a little bit about why Louisiana Christian.
Originally, I planned on going to other colleges, visiting, keeping my options open. But as soon as I got there, it felt like home. Same thing as Aubrey and Riley said. You get there and the environment is so welcoming and warming. And Mama Jo just sold the deal. And it's just really exciting. And then, like, I knew when I got there that that's where I wanted to be, and that's where God wanted. Originally, before I went, it was like in between like kind of Dillard and Nichols, because Nichols is very close. But like as soon as I got there, like sitting in the car, that's like I was like watching like all the signs that God was giving me. Like there was so much prayer that has gone into that day. And then as soon as I got there in the parking lot before I even got with the coaches, like I knew that this is where I was gonna be at. I feel like everybody has impacted me in some kind of way, whether it's at school, like my teachers, I invited them here because they really just helped me grow, just to become the person that I am to and get me out of my shell. And then Coach Mikey, of course, and all of my teammates that I play with like throughout since I was like 7. You know, like they all just really helped me push to be better and become who I am today. And I know that the team that I'm going to will also push me with Coach Maddie. And I'm just really excited.
Okay, we always get the student athlete side of things, right? But sometimes we forget to talk to the moms and the dads because they're so important in this process. Her mother, Jada Stoot, who we happen to work with here at Terrebonne General, sat in with us. I made her kind of talk a little bit about what, her daughter might expect and those things that she thinks about her daughter, how proud she is. Here's Shanika talking about Jada going to LCU.
I'm beyond proud. It's her worth, the way she works, and just the things that you know how she pours into other kids and just gathers a team together and rallies whether they up, whether they down. Jada's gonna get them riled up and put them back in the game, get them back in the game, win or lose. But I got to make the travel. I got to be able to get out there and watch her on the field, and obviously, it's not going to be like being at home because I'm going to it's about 3.5 hour drive. But as much as I can, guess I'll give me a credit card bill ranged up, but I'll be there as much as I can for sure.
Other people who are important in this process are her coaches. First, you're going to hear from Mike Cadwell. Mike Cadwell is one of the primary players over there at Walk-Offs, not walk-ons, Walk-Offs. Walk-Offs is a softball academy, a program here in our Bayou region that takes girls in, showcases those girls. And Mr. Caldwell actually had the opportunity to showcase Jada along the way. Here's what he feels about her abilities.
So Jada Stoot came to me at 14 years old, and she came play with my 18-year-old college showcase team. And from day one that she stepped on the field, she was my starting catcher, and it didn't take long. You could tell that she was leading the team. At the time, I did have a team captain who was a senior for Terrebonne High, who was really good. And Jada joined right in with her. And since then, it's been 4 or 5 years now that Jada, she's always been a team captain. She's always been a clown in the dugout, but she knows when and when not to. Great team motivator. Great motivator just for individuals. Just a great kid all around, and she is tough as nails.
That was Mike Cadwell, one of the representatives of walk-off softball here in the Bayou region, talking about Jada. And finally, we're going to hear from Rusty Terrio, her softball coach at HL Bourgeois. He talks about what kind of player LCU's getting.
Jada is our captain this year. She's a standout player. She's a standout person in general. Very Christian. She's one that can bring the team together. She's one that can solve anything that comes on. Can almost treat her like she's one of us coaches. If we need something done, she knows exactly what to do to get it done. When it comes to playing, I could put her anywhere. She could be first base, second base, catching. There's nothing too big, too small for Jada to accomplish. And if she can, she's going to try her best to accomplish that until she perfects it.
Again, always nice to have a local product signing and getting the opportunity to get a college education. We certainly wish Jada the best. And remember, she's still got her senior year at HL Bourgeois this upcoming spring. So maybe she even enhances on some of those abilities and fundamentals along the way before she gets to Pineville next year. Again, as we close the show, we hope you have a terrific Christmas. Anything you want to wrap up before we move on, Dustin?
I'll just say Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you, Stan.
We're here Monday. I'm here Monday.
I'm not here Monday.
Well, you're not here Monday. We'll figure something out.
Yeah.
We'll get something out there to the folks on Monday. Well, good. Merry Christmas to you. And what a nice thing. You get the week off after?
I do, yeah.
Nah. I'll live vicariously through all you guys.
There you
have
go.
that week off. Again, we wish you the best Christmas ever and hope you have a terrific new year. We'll be back in some form or function on Monday. Hope you're with us. Take care, everybody.